I've gone through many conditions in life, injuries, illnesses, and I recently figured out that all of these were actually manifestations of stress because I stacked multiple stresses on top of the other.
This is episode 163.
Hello and welcome to the final show of 2023. What a year it has been. Congratulations, we made it, we survived it. And hopefully 2024 will shine even brighter for you. So today I wanted to share a very special episode and share with you the top 3 self-care podcasts from my podcast show for 2023. And before I do that, I just wanted to share that we had a look at our insights and we discovered that our show is being played in 37 countries around the world, which is just bloody awesome. And we've had over 2,700 downloads of shows from our podcast show as well this year, which is really exciting. And we also got nominated as one of the best self-care podcast shows around, and I'll put a link to where that was found, which was really exciting. We were just doing like a Google search and discovered that. We weren't even aware. All right, so let's get into it. The top 3 self-care podcasts of 2023. So write these down so that right after this episode, you can go ahead and listen to them so that you can see why they were so downloaded. So let's get into it. What ranked in at number 3 on our podcast show was episode 121, 6 Ways to Relieve Stress Stacking. Have you heard about stress stacking? You might be doing it unconsciously, and I think this is why this episode was so popular, because we are all victims of stress. And I've gone through many conditions in life, injuries, illnesses, and I recently figured out that all of these were actually manifestations of stress because I stacked multiple stresses on top of the other. So this is something that I would really love for you to grasp if you haven't listened to this episode. You know, our bodies can only handle so much when we try to do multiple things all at once, and it's not really healthy or sustainable to do 5 million things at once. And in this podcast episode, I share 6 ways to relieve yourself of stress so that you also don't become a stress stacker. And it's a really great insight and a big eye-opener if you're one of those people that also stacks stress. So here's a little snippet of episode 121, 6 Ways to Relieve Stress Stacking. Enjoy. When you eat well, you feel well. When you eat shit, you feel shit. So if you are stressed, the worst thing to do is to think that you can comfort yourself with junk food, because ultimately all that's going to happen is maybe overeating, binge eating, bloating, you don't feel good. So my advice here is just to eat in a way that makes you feel good afterwards, not in that moment, because that's where we can get trapped. So if you minimize your intake of processed foods and beverages and eating more whole foods such as veggies, fruit, beans, fish, nuts, seeds, like a Mediterranean type of diet, it ensures that your body is properly nourished. And whenever I have had an illness, disease, condition, pain, ache, whatever it is, my eating game hasn't been good. I'm happy to admit that. And the minute that I go back to eating well, then everything feels amazing. So I'm at an age now where it just feels sort of normal now to eat healthier and to make healthier choices. This could be because of just how long I've been sort of working at it, and it wasn't like I just became a healthy eater one day. It was a gradual process over the last 20 years. So I just make one healthy choice and then I'll stuff up and then go back and make another healthy choice and then stuff up. You know that saying, fall down 7 times, get up 8? That's me. All right. So the second top podcast of 2023 for our podcast show is episode 117. 3 reasons why you should not feel guilty when taking a rest. You know, it's so fascinating to think that somewhere inside us, we are convinced that it is okay not to rest. Who came up with that rule? And it's like we feel that it is okay to overwork ourselves and to just work ourselves down to the bone. We're convinced that we need to utilize most of our waking hours to earn money and to be productive for the majority of the day. And then we feel guilt when we need to take a breather or when we need to take a day off or when we need to recharge. So, why do we feel this guilt? You know, if you're constantly worried about not getting things done right away and you need a little bit of convincing that it is okay to rest, then this is the episode for you. And I think that this is why this episode was very popular, because this is something that we all fall victim to. And in that episode, I share my top 3 reasons why you should not feel guilty when taking a rest. You should have this one downloaded and on repeat, okay? Especially mamas, all the mamas out there. And I'll share a little clip of this episode right now.
Please don't underestimate the power of rest, guys. Rest is absolutely crucial. Our bodies are designed to sleep, to rest and recover, just like most living things on this planet. So if you haven't had a proper rest lately, stop beating yourself up over stuff not getting done. Stop beating yourself up over taking time off for yourself and just do it. You are worth it. You deserve it. You are enough. You are so enough. Nothing major will change in your life if you take the rest. You are worthy of rest and you deserve to have appropriate, restful, blissful, amazing recovery for whatever it is, whether it's a sickness, an illness, a health condition, family, parenting rest, school rest, whatever the rest is that you need, just take it and love it the whole time.
And here we are, the top podcast episode of 2023 is, drumroll please, it's a 2-part series, episode 129 and episode 130, The Unseen Threats Lurking in Our Homes, a deep dive into invisible environmental toxins with Ryan Blaster. This episode went off the charts. So I can see that all of you listening must have some sort of concerns about what's lurking inside your homes. Now, if you're concerned about the health of your indoor environment, this episode is a must listen. On this 2-part episode, I sit down with environmental toxicologist and founder of Test My Home, Ryan Blaster. He is just a guru at this stuff, and we'll link to everything in our show notes. Ryan and his team work with families and communities to identify environmental stresses and toxicants within indoor living and work environments. Based on the 25 principles of building biology and ecology, their professional environmental testing reveals hidden dangers that can affect our health and provide practical solutions to improve indoor air quality, water quality, and so much more. It's such a brilliant episode and such a great eye-opener. Now, in part 1 of this conversation, Ryan and we delve into the topics of air quality, mold, water quality, EMF, and other invisible environmental toxins that can harm us that are right in our homes. We discuss the impact these toxins have on our health, and we offer practical suggestions for creating a healthier living space. And you'll be surprised at how simple some of these hacks are. In part 2 of our conversation, Ryan and I discuss the different kinds of mold that can be found in our homes and our workplaces and how they can affect our health. We also explore the toxic chemicals that are lurking in many common household products, including artificial fragrances, cleaning supplies, and personal care items. It's a really, really brilliant insight to learn how many harmful chemicals are in the products that we use every single day. Now, one of my favorite topics that we discussed as well is the impact on EMF on our mood and our health. Now, did you know that the electromagnetic fields generated by our electronics can affect our sleep, our energy levels, and our mood? Ryan shares some tips on these 2 episodes for reducing our exposure to EMF in the home and some practical tips for starting to make your home toxic-free as well. From choosing non-toxic cleaning products to air purifiers, there are many, many, many small changes that you can make to create a healthier living space. So go ahead and listen to that episode now. And here's a little clip from those shows.
And also my own health too. I was actually living in a home about 10 years ago that had quite a bit of mold in it. And I got pretty sick from it. And the doctors, they didn't know what it was. They thought I might have stomach cancer. They wanted to take the gallbladder out. I was in and out of the hospital, couldn't keep food down. Finally ended up moving out of the house to move in with my mom so she could help take care of me. I was that sick. And I got better. And come to find out, the home was riddled with black mold. I could have died if I stayed in there much longer. It was really, really bad. And so none of these, I bet I went through 4 different doctors and not one of them asked about the home environment. They didn't ask anything about the environment. Some of them might have asked about food and diet and stuff, but most of them just want to start doing surgery and start putting me on prescription drugs. And so kind of lost a little faith in, traditional type medicine. And it kind of started me down a path of looking at root cause of what's causing a lot of these issues. And surprisingly, a lot of this stuff does stem from our environment. Yeah, that's kind of how I got where I'm at now.
All right, I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. Those were the top 3 downloaded episodes of 2023. Thank you so much for coming along the ride. If you have any feedback or any insights, or you'd love to share any sort of topics that you'd love for me to talk about, please write on in. We will be launching a new series soon, so stay tuned for what's to come in 2024. And I'm wishing you the best New Year's Eve ever and the most delightful 2024. See you soon.